All right, well, Karen has our program today, and Karen, come up and introduce our program.
So I didn't find out until really late that I was going to have the program this week, and so I called my hero, Coach Metzel, and I said, please. And he said he would love to. So the man that needs no introduction, Coach Metzel.
Thank you. So glad to get to come and speak with you guys today. When Karen contacted me yesterday, I thought, sure, I'm happy to do that. I love to get to visit with our people in our community anytime. That's a good thing. And so, but I wanted to do something or to share with you something that you would want to hear. I'm thinking, okay, so what does the Rotary Club want to hear from me? And so I thought, okay, they're probably going to want to hear about the kids. They're going to want to know about what's going on with guys at school and our team. They're going to want to know, are they growing? Are they maturing? What are some things that are tangible that can show, yeah, we're making progress? And then finally, how does that relate to you? As businessmen and women in our community, and pillars that these young men and women need to look up to. And so that was kind of the three things that I thought of. So I thought, well, I got to tell you some of the stories that are just hilarious, And then what was even more of a confirmation, I sat down with Karen and I started telling her about Luke and how, he needed a pair of his football pants. He couldn't find his, so I get them for him and he puts them on and he heads up the hall, and I realize he has them on backwards, as he's going up the hall. And then Anna was telling me about how Will brought me today her keys. He brought me a pair of keys. He said, Coach, you know who these are? And I said, no. He said, well, I don't know whose they are, so I'm going to leave them with you, and if somebody needs them, they'll, they can come find them. They were hers. So, this is some of the good stuff, But I actually had several other stories, and then you guys just added to my repertoire. But, Olin Johnson, he was coaching, and this was on a Thursday night in a game, okay? And so, sub-varsity, and he's talking to the guy, and he's saying, hey, did you cut off the guy on the backside? I mean, did you move your feet where you're supposed to? And he goes, yeah, Coach, I did. Well, he wasn't real sure he did because that guy made the play, made the tackle. And so he's like, are you sure you did that? He's like, yeah, Coach, I did. And Owen said, well, the eye in the sky doesn't lie. The eye is the camera that we film with. And the kid goes, looked straight up in the air and started looking around in the clouds. Owen was like, never mind. Never mind. We'll figure it out later. So we moved on. So he wasn't real sure what the eye in the sky was, but he was going to start hunting for it. We had another scenario a couple of weeks ago. It's always interesting when you get a new group of 7th graders that come in because they don't know anything. And probably for Max Lowe and Todd Fenton, they're saints because they've done this for so many years at that level. They don't know how to put on their pads. They don't know where everything goes. And so, the kid puts on his shoulder pads. Well, he's trying to get his jersey on and he's like, got his arm up through his, and he's stuck and he can't move, and they're trying to untangle him, and one of the coaches said it's a lot easier if you put the jersey on and then put your shoulder pads on. And so the kid was like, oh, okay. So they get him back in there, and they walked in, and he had his jersey on with his shoulder pads on top of him. And he just kind of ducked his head, and he's like, well, you did what I told you, And he had to explain, no, I meant on the shoulder pads, then put the shoulder pads on. So, you got to really spell these things out systematically, and, you just never know. I'm coaching a kid one time, and the kid, we're explaining to him, I'm going to step over here to demonstrate. We're explaining to him that if you're an outside receiver, the ball was over there, you put your inside foot up. Well, he was like this. And he had a good looking stance, and I'm looking at him, I said, okay, that's good. Now put your right foot up. And he just stood there, and I said, put your right foot up. And he went, he was trying to do what I was telling him to do. And I started clapping, and I said, I appreciate your coachableness. Nice job. Now, I didn't do a good job explaining. Let's step that one forward and put the other one back, you know. He was doing what I told him to do, you know. These things like that you can't make up, you know. I'll tell one more. There was a kid who was on the defensive line, this was again junior high, and he was playing too close to the center. He needed to be over the guard. And so the coach says, loosen up, you know, meaning scoot over. And, you know, he's still in there, he's screaming, loosen up. And he stands up and starts going, doing jumping jacks. He was trying to loosen up, you know. The coach kind of just went, okay. You know, you don't get on a kid for that. You know, they're doing what you asked them to do. So our job, that's why we love our job, not so that we can make fun of them, but because it's refreshing. You know, there's an innocence in every one of those where that's exactly what you said to do. And we had thought, you know, I need to do a better job coaching this. And but it's fun, it's enjoyable every day. So that was number one, telling you a little bit about the kids. Number two, are they growing? Are they growing? Oh yeah, we can see that they're growing from a standpoint of physically. You can look at the 7th grade pictures that are on the wall of the team, and then you look at them as seniors, and some of them, you go, my goodness, they've grown 2 feet. You know, they're 6'3", that sort of thing. But more than that, are they growing as people? Are they growing as young men? It's more than just do they know how to run the play. That's not what it's about. It's about becoming men. You know, and we've had several things already in our short season take place that just makes me so proud and grateful of how some of these guys are growing up. You know, one example would be, I've mentioned it before at other meetings, is Mason Hurt. You know, Mason, here he is, he's a guy who started at quarterback for 2 years, taken all kinds of beatings, helped our team get to the playoffs, win playoff games, and then as his senior year, when it comes down to, you know, I think, Mason, I think this is going to make us better to make this move. And he says, whatever we need to do, coach, to be the best we can be. Man, that's humbling. As a coach, that's humbling. How many people do that kind of thing in life? Where they set down their dreams, their aspirations, the things that they've worked so hard for to go, okay, I want to do what's going to make us all better. Think about that, the translation of that in our country, you know, in our community. That's special. You know, how about Jaden Griffin? I'll bring him up. A couple of weeks ago, we were playing against Henderson, and we didn't do as well offensively. And it was crazy. You know, like the very first play of the game was supposed to go to him, and we didn't handle the snap, and they picked it up, ran for a touchdown, and several other things happened during the game when the ball was supposed to come to him, and it just didn't. And after the game, he comes up to me and he says, Coach, you know, I'm thinking, oh, he's going to fuss because he didn't get the ball, you know. And he says, Coach, what could I have done better? What could I have done that would have helped that work better? You know, and I looked at him and I said, Jaden, that's awesome. That's awesome. Something didn't work right, and what did he say? What can I do better? What a great mindset to have in life. How can I be a part of making this better? I said, Jaden, you actually did a great job. Keep doing what you're doing. We'll get the things work. And this past week, he was our offensive player of the game. You know, scored 2 touchdowns, caught a big pass on the first drive. People who are willing to reflect on themselves when things aren't going good, and they're able to adjust and go, okay, what can I do to help move us forward? That's powerful. Those are the things that make you keep pushing on. Those are the reasons that you get up and you come to work. Those are the things that make you go, you know, the long hours are worth it. When you see young men start getting it. And so I'll connect that to the last thing, and that is, so how does that affect you? Well, you can know, not that we're there completely, not that we have just arrived. We have many lessons to learn along the way, you know, so don't go, well, what about this other area? Well, we're going to have those. We'll have them. We'll stub our toe, but we're going to keep working day in and day out to teach these young men to grow up, to go to work every day, to work at your jobs every day, to be on time, to be thankful that they have a job, to be thankful that they can have a family, to stick it out with their family when things get hard, to be there for their kids, to care about their community, to appreciate the life that God has given us, and be able to communicate that to other people. You know, we talk in the mornings before they head out. We say, hey, don't forget, and I'm not saying that all of them do it every day, but we're going to say it. Don't forget, tell your teacher thank you, that they're teaching you. Tell the lady in the lunch line, thank you for making this food. I said, it may even get you an extra roll someday. You never know, you know. But let them know, hey, thank you for what you're doing. We're, like I said, we're still very much a work in progress. But we're seeing signs. We're seeing young men get to the place that we want them to be. They're starting to take on that next level of maturity that you can be proud of, that will come and be the people that work for you, no matter where they are on the totem pole, so to speak. They may be the low man and they're doing the grunt work. We let them know. We talk about accept your role and bloom where you're planted. Get to work at what your role is and trust that that's going to work out for you in the end. That it's no different than in a football game, whether you get the ball or you don't get the ball, or you're on the defense or you're on the offense, or you're playing special teams. What's your role? Go be great at it. Go be great at your role. And when you do that, it's doing something in you that's going to bless you as you go down the line, and it's going to bless the people around you. So as a community in Gilmer, I can tell you things are going good. Things are going good. We're blessed to have the young men and women that we have at Gilmer ISD. They're good kids. Do they make mistakes? Absolutely. Are they going to overcome them? Absolutely. We're going to help them get there. We're going to help them become the young men and women that are going to make our town proud. So thank you for letting me get to come and just spend a little bit of time with you. And if there's anything you'd like to ask me before I sit down, I'm happy to answer any questions or whatever, and if not, then I'll just go take a seat. Anything before I sit down? Yes?
We always talk about varsity football, but you never talk a little bit about the junior high.
Yes.
Kids get further thing with this. But how important is it to have maximum?
Oh, and I hear from so many staffs, you know, Kerry Lane played for me in high school, then he coached for us here at Gilmer, and now he's the head coach and assistant AD at Pine Tree. He says the hardest thing is getting the junior high coaches. And because what happens typically is you have people that are right out of college to get the junior high job, whether you have somebody, many times it's kind of lost their luster for coaching and they're just kind of finishing, you know, as opposed to guys like Max and Todd who have a calling for that age. And they've been here for 20 plus years, and year after year after year, you know what you're getting. The kids know what they're getting. They know that these guys are in it for them, that they enjoy this age, that they're wanting to mold them. They can be confident that when they go through that junior high program, they're learning what we're doing in a smaller level. It's all aligned. They're going to learn the same terminology, the same drills. All of it goes the same, which is a huge advantage as to what you get to see on Friday night. So absolutely. Anything else? I appreciate you guys. Thanks for letting me come and share with you today.